And welcome inside to the opening drive. Nick Kosko. Wow. Oh my goodness. Nick Kosko and Mike Antosiewicz here with you every Monday morning. I just drank water too. My God. That was awful. Wake up, folks. That is my voice this morning. Been fighting off a cold or stuffy nose, sore throat for like a week. My God.
Well, unfortunately, the cold spell is back.
So. Yeah, it is, and it's just not doing me any favors. 17 degrees out this morning. Got a lot to do today. Rutgers Wrestling, of course, first and foremost. And then, of course, we will get into the Super Bowl, my Eagles against the New England Patriots. It's very close, folks. We're getting there. It's almost time. Football is approaching. But, of course, Mike, as always, we will start off with good old Rutgers Wrestling. And, of course, we were on the call for the match along with Matt Howe, of course. On Sunday, as Rutgers took on Penn State, lost 25-15. It was the second most points Penn State has given up all year, and they didn't blow Rutgers out. But the big storylines from this match were obviously Suriano against his former team. He got the pin over Devin Schnupp rather easily. And then you go down the list. Scott DeVecchio got a nice win over Corey Keener. And then from there, it was all Penn State. Big story out of it, though, Mike. Jason Nolf's injury for Penn State looks pretty bad. We don't know when he's going to be back. I saw something on Flow Wrestling where Cael Sanderson was quoted as saying, we're going to rest him, and we're going to see what we can do for the postseason. So this is going to be similar to Suriano's situation at Penn State last season, where they're going to take their time with Nolf now, and they're going to see if they can get him ready for the postseason. Now, if that means he's going to wrestle in Big Tens, I don't know yet, but he'll still qualify for nationals, even if he goes out there, medically forfeits after being on the mat for 2 seconds and then forfeits out of the tournament. He'll still get a wild card berth in the NCAA tournament due to his credentials. He's the defending champion, and he also already wrestled the minimum amount of matches to be under that NCAA qualifying RP, whatever it is. It's their point system. So that was one of the big stories. Richie Lewis and Nick Gravina had very close matches against defending champions. Lewis 5-4 loss to Vincenzo Joseph. Gravina 6-5 loss to Bo Nickel 184. But also, Mike, we got to take out of this too. They wrestled pretty well, and you feel a little bit more confident now going into this weekend's set of matches against Northwestern on Friday. They have Illinois on Sunday. But there are still some questions. What is going on with Kevin Mulligan? And can Rutgers bounce back in certain spots? Can they build off what they did on Sunday? So those are the two biggest questions. I'm going to pass it off to you now. You look at the big thing. Let's discuss Kevin Mulligan real quick. What is going on with him? Goodell told us after the match, he is not with us right now. We'll reevaluate in a couple of days.
He's not with the team.
Yeah, so he said a couple of days they'll reevaluate. Today's a couple of days, a few days. You look at what they're doing now. Anthony Messner at 197. He's been here for a long time. Solid defensive wrestler, but Mike, he is not going to get it done. I hate to say it, but he's not the guy you want at 97 in these big matches. You're just praying he doesn't get pinned or teched or majored. Maybe he could pull out a win or two, but he's not the quality wrestler. He's not the quality of wrestler that Kevin Mulligan is. But even Mulligan hasn't shown that this year because he's 9-9. So what is the deal now? I mean, to me, I don't get how the situation is resolved until next season.
Well, there's certain things that you try to learn or learn conclusively, which means that you look at the evidence that leads you to a definite answer. But there's some times where that method won't work because all you could really do is eliminate possibilities. And from what Coach Goodell told us at that press conference, we have to explore the latter option, eliminate what's not happening. What I could tell you right now is that I do think he's injured because he hasn't looked physically fit recently. Coach has talked about he's not really in shape, but we've also seen him wearing a knee pad recently. I don't think he is fully healthy from a physical standpoint, but the fact of the matter is, if that was the case, Coach wouldn't be saying, "Oh, he's not with the team right now." That has a stronger connotation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're alluding to maybe he's injured, but then the way Goodell phrased that after the match, it's like that doesn't seem like an injury. That seems like totally the other situation.
So what I do know, or what I'm very strongly believe, is that the situation right now is more complicated than just an injury. Do I think an injury is involved? Absolutely, because you look at the evidence. He's been out of shape.
He doesn't look like himself at all.
Physically fit. He's been wearing knee pads certain matches. So there's an injury factor there, but I think there's something in addition to the injury factor, which explains Coach Goodell's interesting answer to that question. What is it? Is it that right now they feel like he hasn't been working hard enough in the room? Everyone knows that's the case, and they want to give him some time off. Say, take 3 days. Take 3 days. Relax, or get your head right. Then come back to us. Is that the situation? Perhaps, but that doesn't really make sense either, because Coach Goodell said, no, we'll evaluate in a few days, which is the language of
injury.
Of an injury, absolutely. But again, the situation is more complicated than injury, because if he was injured, he would be with the team. He just wouldn't be wrestling. So are they evaluating whether or not they want to continue this relationship with him, or after 5 days, let's say, are they going to come back?
And that would be a big decision there.
Are they going to come back and say, you know what, Kevin, this is not working out for either of us? That can't be the case. What has he done?
Other than wrestle average.
Yeah, other than wrestling average, that he needs to be gone from the program. So it's very confusing, the situation right now. What I will say, just to go back to you, and then you had two other questions to ask me, so keep this moving along, is that I do think it's more complicated than injury. I do think an injury is involved, but what the situation is leading us to believe that he might be, his long-term participation in the program might be at jeopardy. I'm not sure I believe that. Maybe Coach, and this is what I'm thinking, maybe Coach used stronger language than he actually meant, but it is a complicated situation.
Yeah, excuse me. That really could be the case. I mean, when you look at the language he used, he says he's not with us right now. Does not totally indicate injury. But then, as you mentioned before, the latter language indicated injury, because he said we'll reevaluate. Do I think there's an injury involved too? I think so. Because from what we saw last year, and I get he was unattached last year. He was wrestling in a bunch of opens. He wasn't wrestling Big Ten duels every week. But he was winning. He was wrestling well last year.
Guerrero last year actually did not have a very good season. He was injured. He didn't have a lot of matches. And then Guerrero came out, and he's
wrestling pretty well so far.
After being stumbly a little bit in the beginning, he picked it up. Mulligan is the exact opposite. He had a very strong redshirt year. I asked Coach about his redshirt year. Maybe next week we'll pull the audio for this. I actually asked Coach directly at the opening conference about Kevin Mulligan, and he was confident about Mulligan. He said, things are trending upwards, although there are things need to be worked on, obviously. So yeah, I don't exactly know what to make of the situation right now, except that he's not going to. It's a mystery. He's not going to be with the team this weekend.
I can only assume he's not going to be. And it was indicative. It was indicated back on Sunday, because we looked at the weigh-in sheets, Mike, and he wasn't even on the weigh-in sheet. He didn't even weigh in.
Which again, I think is injury related to something. Yeah.
At this point, I just hope we're not making excuses for him, saying it's all injury related. It's not mental. I think it's a combination of both. I mean, the kid was a top high school recruit coming into college. It was a big get for Rutgers to get him, 2-time NJ state champion. He had other Big Ten offers. I mean, this was a big signing for this program. And when he comes in as a redshirt freshman, as a true freshman, and to be honest with you, Mike, if he started last year, he might have done better than Correnti last year. But they decided to redshirt him, and he had a great unattached season. And now he's 500. It's certainly a mystery as to what is going on. Whether it's mental and or injury remains to be seen, but I think we can strongly assume that he is not going to be wrestling this weekend at Northwestern and at Illinois. So, Mike, that transitions me into this next point here, this next topic of discussion, before we eventually get into all the football talk, which includes the Super Bowl, obviously, and the big trade yesterday. How about that? Alex Smith traded from the Chiefs to the Redskins. So quarterbacks are already starting to move before the season's even over. But we'll get into that soon. This weekend, Mike, Northwestern, Illinois. I broke down the matches. They should win both. I actually brought it out to 20-12. It's gonna be close in some spots, but they should win these next two matches.
Yes.
And then I even broke down further, Minnesota. They actually should win that one relatively the same. The closest match they're going to have in these next four, they actually have 5 matches left. I think we can assume they're going to beat Princeton. But out of the next 4, the closest one they're going to have is Wisconsin. But, of course, we'll get into that 2 weeks from now. But for this weekend, Mike, they should win. I'm looking at the matchups now for Northwestern. Soriano and Sebastian Rivera. That's going to be another good one. They're going to face each other again. Eleazar DeLuca goes up against Ryan Deacon at 149. That's going to be a tough match for DeLuca. And you also look at Joe Grello going up against Johnny Sebastian, another prized Bergen Catholic recruit out of New Jersey. Decided to go to Northwestern. He's at 174. He's ranked 17th right now. Grello unranked. I'm telling you what, Mike, this could be the match. If Grello gets the win, he might be propelled into the rankings. Because he has some good wins this year, but he has yet to have that win that gets him into the top 20. What say you about Rutgers' matchup with Northwestern on Friday?
I think they should win. I think if they take care of their jobs, that both these matches actually should be more. How do I phrase this? Less contingent, let's say.
Less taxing than Penn State?
That's certainly than Penn State, but then the Nebraska match. And what I mean by that is that, by the term contingent, is that if you look at that Nebraska match, and I think Coach even said this.
They should have won.
They should have won, but Coach I think even said this at the media availability last week, that he could have saw Rutgers winning 9 out of 10 matches for that match, or you could see Rutgers losing 9 out of 10 matches.
Something along those lines,
yeah. I mean, the match could just have swayed back and forth, and it did to a certain extent.
Yeah, but I see what you're going with this too.
This match is not like that. If you look at the matchups,
they should be winning 4, or at least 5 or 6 of these matches, hands down.
Yeah, if you look at the matchups, there's very few matches that are like, oh, this could go either way. I'm going to slot this here, or I'm going to slot this for this team. It's not really like that. The matchups are clearly in Rutgers' favor. There are a few weight classes, obviously, where Rutgers is
the underdog.
The underdog, but they're the definitive underdogs. And likewise, when Rutgers is favored, they're the definitive favorites in those weight classes. Now, what usually happens for Rutgers, being in the 10 to 20 range, a top team in the country, they have their studs winning a bunch of matches, but then another team will have a few of their own studs, but it ends up that because Rutgers has so many ranked wrestlers, that some of Rutgers' lower ranked wrestlers are in matches with some higher ranked wrestlers from other teams. And then what we usually do is say, well, listen, it's Vecchio 16 against number 13, and that could easily go Rutgers' way, and we have to calculate that. There's not really any of these scenarios in that match. It's just about going. It's just a matter of going out and doing business.
I totally agree, because I think the only overwhelming matchup that's against Rutgers is probably the 149 matchup with Ryan Deacon, who's number 5 now, and you look at DeLuca. DeLuca, I think, moved up to number 12. Yes, he did. And Deacon's number 5, and he's a freshman. He's gonna be around for a while, so I mean that's gonna be a tough match for DeLuca. Does the experience factor have a hand in this? Maybe, because DeLuca's been around the block a couple times here. You know what I mean? Because he's a graduate transfer. He's wrestled all over the place, so maybe the experience factor will help him out in this match. But Deacon's a very, very solid wrestler, and likewise, you go against Illinois this weekend, Mike, on Sunday, actually on Super Bowl Sunday, actually. We'll wrap up Rutgers Wrestling here with this. The thing I'm looking forward to the most this weekend, not only is for Rutgers to bounce back with 2 straight wins, to get to 7-5 overall this year, to get to 3-5 in the Big Ten, or 3-4 in the Big Ten. But Richie Lewis, I want to see how he does against another national champion in Isaiah Martinez. That is going to be a big, big match. We saw how close he was to beating Vincenzo Joseph, and arguably maybe should have beaten him. He had a chance. Can he do the same thing against Isaiah Martinez? And one last question for you, Mike. Does another close loss to Martinez. Like, there's a close loss to Martinez, 5-4, 6-5, like it was to Joseph. Does that give you more confidence in Richie Lewis? Or are you saying, or are you going to say to yourself, man, he just can't beat the top guys, but he might be hanging around in the bottom part of the 8 on the podium? What does that say to you?
At this point of the year, it's not going to bother me because there's a lot of wrestling left. I think he has some big matches coming up after Illinois as well. We shouldn't forget about those matches, and we'll talk about
Evan Wick against in Wisconsin,
yes,
and Nick Wanzak against Minnesota.
Yeah, those are the 2 wrestlers I was thinking of. But I think at this point, if he wrestles against Isaiah Martinez as he did against Vincenzo Joseph, it's a huge positive. Now, right now, he hasn't wrestled the top guys at 65, right?
Just
the
Marinelli.
difference between 57 and 65 is nearly 10 pounds. That's a gigantic difference. People move differently, giving that weight differential. So the fact that he's assimilated himself to the weight class, and while he's just been able to do that, he's also was extremely competitive, almost won the match against Vincenzo Joseph, I think speaks volumes of where he is.
And correct me if I'm wrong,
Mike,
Mike,
right now.
I'm pretty sure he only has 3 losses, and 2 of them are to Marinelli, the other one to Vincenzo Joseph.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So right now, saying that, if he doesn't beat Isaiah Martinez February 2nd, what is it? No, February 4th. February 4th.
Gotta get the date right.
That he's going to not have success in the NCAAs is just putting the cart before the horse, and it's not thinking very rationally.
You got to remember, Mike, he might wrestle these guys again at the Big Ten tournament.
Exactly. And again, these matches, look at Isaiah Martinez and Jason Nolf. They're
when they were in the same weight class.
When they were in the same weight class a few years ago. It went back and forth, those matches. One match, I think Isaiah Martinez won the Big Ten championship one year in Ultimate Rideout. I think 0 points or scored that match or something like that.
I think isn't it where doesn't it go towards? I know it's not Ultimate Rideout in college. Actually, remember now I do recall, just for our listening audience, if it's still tied in overtime after the multiple periods,
it goes to riding time.
It goes to who has more riding time.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
I wanted to clarify. I think you're right. I think he did win the Big Ten title based on riding time.
Yeah, he won the Big Ten title.
It was insane,
which is unbelievable. So, these matches come down to moments, and if that moment doesn't happen right now, doesn't mean it's not going to happen down the road. What I just want to say is that he has the ability to generate those moments, and from what I could see, I think he does. But I would be very disappointed, let's say, if he loses by 5 points to Isaiah Martinez.
Yeah,
I don't want him.
You want to see him in the match.
If he gets taken down twice by Martinez and Richie Lewis gets a takedown, I'm fine with that. If he doesn't get a takedown on Martinez,
if it's kind of one of those one-sided, like 5-point matches, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. But if Martinez takes him down, I would rather have it. Martinez takes him down twice, and Richie Lewis gets a takedown because he couldn't finish with Vincenzo Joseph. That'd be I would like that more, because then I could say to myself, okay, he could take them down. All he needs to do is be a little bit more careful on his feet. But that would be the preferred scenario for me, right? A final score of, I don't know, 6-5 or something would be, I think, very encouraging.
If he wins. All right, so Rutgers will take on Northwestern and Illinois this weekend, Friday and Sunday. We expect them to win both, and then we'll have coverage next Friday against Minnesota back here at the RAC. You catch all the action here on 88.7. Myself, Mike, and Matt will be on the call for that one, and then Mike and I go out to Wisconsin and Princeton the following week for a Friday-Sunday spectacular to end the regular season. And then all of a sudden, Mike, we're 2 weeks away at that point from Big Tens.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, we'll take a quick break. On the other side, we will discuss the Alex Smith trade real quick and, of course, get into the Super Bowl, preview the entire game, break down some good storylines, and we'll give you our final predictions going into the weekend. I don't think my prediction will surprise anybody. Make sure to keep it locked. You're listening to The Opening Drive here on 88.7 WRSU FM and online at WRSU.org. Welcome back inside to The Opening Drive. Nick Kosko, Mike Antosiewicz. 8:21 right now. Let's discuss this Alex Smith trade, Mike. This caught me by surprise yesterday, and I'm trying to comprehend as to what the heck the Redskins are doing. They trade for Alex Smith. You got to remember, this guy was you got to remember this guy was the number 1 overall pick in 2005. He's become a pretty good. He's been a pretty good quarterback throughout his career. He's been average. He's been really good. Then he comes back down there a little bit. He's gotten teams to the playoffs. He was a game away from the Super Bowl the one year, and then the next year he gets hurt. Colin Kaepernick takes over, and then the 49ers get to the Super Bowl. And then he's in Kansas City. Andy Reid kind of rejuvenates his career a little bit. Gets a little more juice into it, and he gets those teams to the playoffs as well. Can't get past the second round though. And now the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes last year with the intent to take over eventually, and everyone's thinking, okay, maybe this is probably the last year for Alex Smith in Kansas City. Fine. But as you mentioned to me, during the break, what did the Chiefs really get? They got Kendall Fuller, who's a starting corner, and they got a third-round pick. So maybe that's enough. Now I have the hiccups. It's not a good morning for me. So maybe that's a decent haul for the Chiefs in their minds, but you give the Redskins arguably an upgraded quarterback, but then you really can't argue that because it seems like Kirk Cousins and Alex Smith are basically the same quarterback. Alex Smith is just older, and the Redskins just gave him a 4-year extension, almost worth $100 million. So there's a lot about this that I don't understand. If you're the Redskins, if you're going to give that money to a quarterback, why not just give it to Kirk Cousins because he's younger and you might have a better chance with Kirk Cousins than you do Alex Smith. And this almost certainly means that Kirk Cousins is going to be testing the free agency market, and he's going to be playing elsewhere next year, whether it be the New York Jets, the Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals, Jacksonville. If they decided to say to heck with Blake Bortles, I mean, what was your reaction when you heard this? I'm so confused as to why this just doesn't make sense to me, this deal, and why the Redskins of all teams took him on.
First off, I think the Redskins won the deal in the sense that they only had to give up a third-round pick for Alex Smith
and Kendall Fuller.
I mean, that's just a steal. I don't know that much about Kendall Fuller. I know he has a brother, Kyle Fuller, on the Bears, who's pretty good, has a lot of potential. But Kendall Fuller and a third-round pick for Alex Smith, it goes to show you how chronically disrespected and underappreciated Alex Smith is.
Yeah, I think it is.
He's not the reason why that team has not had success. The Kansas City Chiefs. I think Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid also has something to do for that of just not being able to get over the hump. But I think the Redskins won the deal. Now the logic is I really don't want to talk about on the Chiefs' part. I don't know why they wanted to get rid of Alex Smith. Maybe they thought that after this season with the collapse and then losing at home in the playoffs,
they were ready from. They wanted to get rid of. They're ready for Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the way the season ended. The course of the year where it was so down and up, and then they lost. Then they picked it back up, but then lost at home in the playoffs. I think they felt like they needed to make a change to move past this, and I guess this is what the change that they wanted. I still think they got a terrible deal though. Now we go to the Redskins. Basically, I was thinking to myself, oh well, you know what? Maybe Alex Smith is a cheaper option, and then they signed him to this extension. I'm reading the details last night. I'm going like. Oh, he's making $24 million a year. He's actually making more than 24. No, he's making $24 million a year. That's not that much cheaper than Kirk Cousins is going. You know what I mean? I think Kirk Cousins is going to get a contract.
That's why it doesn't make sense to me because you could have signed Kirk Cousins for the same amount of money, if not a little bit more, and you get a younger quarterback in Kirk Cousins and potentially a better quarterback.
Who's a hometown favorite. Unless they thought that the only way this really makes sense for Washington is one of two ways. That they thought Alex Smith is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins.
I think they have to believe that.
Or they think that Kirk Cousins does not want to stay in Washington.
I think when you now that you say that, it's probably a combination of both, because they're not going to make.
I mean, listen, he has a losing record as a starting quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
That's a totally legit point. When you mention who's better, I think the Redskins had to believe that Alex Smith is better than Kirk Cousins. That's my only rationale for this deal. because
unless Kirk Cousins really wanted like $30 million. Or something like that.
Fine, but then even if they wanted to get rid of Kirk Cousins, regardless of whether they think Alex Smith is better, they would have brought in another quarterback anyway. They would have drafted a quarterback. They would have looked to draft a quarterback. So this actually leads me to believe that Kirk Cousins, or they actually believe that Alex Smith is that much better than Kirk Cousins that they said, okay, we'll give up a corner and a draft pick to get this guy who's been in the league since 2005. We'll go with an older option in Alex Smith because they feel, I guess they still feel like they're in a win now mode. I felt like I guess they feel like we're an Alex Smith type of guy away from being back in the playoffs. And this is where it doesn't make sense to me because I don't think that's the case. They have so many other holes. They didn't have Deshaun Jackson last year or Pierre Garçon. You saw what happened because of that. Their offense wasn't nearly as good. Defense was shaky, and they were near the bottom of the division this year. So we'll see how it pays off. But now if you have to rank the quarterbacks in the NFC East, Carson Wentz obviously is number one. Alex Smith is probably a better quarterback than Dak Prescott right now. And then you put Dak, and then Eli has just been terrible, and then you don't know who the Giants are even going to do. I don't even want to dive into the Giants today. My God. Dumpster fire. Let's talk about two winning teams, Mike, in the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots and my Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm saying my a lot today because I'm excited and rooting for them all the way, obviously. And, of course, I'm gonna spoil everybody's good time right now. I'm gonna pick them already. I'm gonna pick them right now, but I'll give my official pick later. But yes, I'm picking the Eagles, obviously. Let's talk about this Super Bowl, Mike. Eagles, Patriots. I saw something interesting on PTI yesterday. What would be the better storyline for the NFL based on the winner? If you look at the stories that would come out for the winner of this game, Patriots, obviously, it's 6th Super Bowl, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, all cement their legacy. Throw that Seth Wickersham article out the window. They're fine. Excuse me. They're fine.
No, you see,
they could do it again.
No. I think that Wickersham article had a lot to say, and I think what happens now is that the Patriots win when it's them against the world, and what that Wickersham article did was question the Patriots' way. Now the issue is Belichick, Brady, and Kraft all have a different idea of what the Patriot way is. But
fine, I'll let you get into that.
That article made a way to unite them.
But hang on.
There's still a lot of tension there, Nick. Still a lot of tension there.
Fine, but what I'm saying is they use that as motivation, and then in the immediate,
they did.
Of course, and in the immediate aftermath, you could say, throw the article out the window. They just won again, so what rift? Like, what is this rift even doing? It's not doing anything, but they still won another Super Bowl. Isn't that what everybody cares about anyway? At the end of the day, is winning a Super Bowl. They could easily do it again next year. And I guarantee you, Mike, you can't say, okay, this is number 6 for Brady and Belichick. Is this where it ends now? Do they ride off in the sunset? Absolutely not. They're going to be the team that goes for their 7th Super Bowl next year, and they're going to try to be the first team to ever go for the three-peat. I believe Dallas was the team that was closest. I think they won 2 in a row, and I believe they might have gotten. Did they get back the 3rd year? I don't think so. I think they got close though. But the Patriots are obviously going to be the team to beat next year if they win again. I'm sure they'll be the team to beat again next year, even if they lose. That's the story coming out of the New England side if they win. For the Philadelphia side, if they win, obviously it's the first Super Bowl title ever in Eagles history. Doug Peterson, only in his 2nd year as head coach. He's obviously, I think he's the coach of the year right now anyway. Doug Peterson is the best coach this season. He'll get the Coach of the Year award. You know, is he the greatest coach in Eagles history already? With this job he did, what happens with Nick Foles? Carson Wentz did such a great job this year, getting him to this point. And then it attests to the coaching job by Peterson to get Foles on the same page and be just as good down the stretch. And you also look at, is this one of the great teams of recent memory because they are so well put together, and that goes back up to Howie Roseman.
I hate telling you they're not one of the best teams of recent memory.
I put my bias aside, I think I totally disagree with you just because
they were 14-2, maybe.
Mike, they lost a meaningless game at the end of the year. They were 13-2, and they put their 3rd string in against Dallas. That's why they were 13-3. Come on. And they lost. Their 2 losses, Mike, before that were on the road in Seattle, and then in Kansas City week 2. You look at how this team was built. It was a 7-9 football team last year. They won their quarterback. They got their quarterback. Carson Wentz took immense steps this year. And then you look at how this team was built. They bring in Alshon Jeffrey, a free agent. They bring in Torrey Smith, that's a free agent. Another free agent, LeGarrette Blount, is a running back. They bring in Patrick Robinson, who wasn't even supposed to make the team, and now he's one of the best corners on the team. They drafted well. They drafted Derek Barnett, who, by the way, they got in because of that Sam Bradford deal the previous year, when they traded Sam Bradford to the Vikings to make Carson Wentz the starter. That's where that draft pick comes from. Derek Barnett, who's a very important player on that defensive line. They signed a guy like Chris Long, who provides veteran leadership at that defensive end position, and he's made some big impact plays. Malcolm Jenkins is back there. Rodney McLeod is back there. Rodney McLeod came in 2016. Jalen Mills was a 7th-round draft pick. He's one of the better corners right now. Rasul Douglas was a draft pick this year. He was doing some good things earlier in the year. Ronald Darby, they traded for him in the preseason. And he's the other starting cornerback, and he's one of their better defensive backs. This team was so well crafted. My hat's off to Howie Roseman. So now that I've given you maybe 12 different storylines within 2, you tell me, what's the better story for the NFL? Bias aside, what's the better story for the NFL based on who wins the Super Bowl? Is it the Patriots winning or is it the Eagles winning? What's the better story for the NFL?
Well, I think it's the Eagles for multiple reasons. I think it's the Eagles winning because people within and without football are tired of the Patriots. You couldn't not know what 1st and 10 means, but you still know about the Patriots. Some variation is good, and I think that if the Eagles win, I think it matters for a lot of people in the sport, and I think it always matters a lot of people for the image of the sport, a lot of people outside of the sport. Now, going to somebody now assessing for somebody like myself, right, who's a Jets fan who wants his team to win a Super Bowl.
I think you definitely want the Patriots to lose.
I want the Patriots to lose because I don't like the Patriots, but also I think that for the reasons you just stated, through free agency, through trades, and yes, Carson Wentz was a good quarterback, but Carson Wentz wasn't the USC quarterback. He came from a small school. I mean, that model that the Eagles have is some, and that the Eagles used to get to this point is a model that teams could replicate, and I think that it's important for other teams to. Is he not coming in now, Mr. Pavlichko?
What did he just do?
He just walked away.
He just teased me.
Are you serious?
That was a tease.
You should have saw him. He was opening the door, and then he just ran. I never saw him move that fast in my life. Oh, my God.
There we go.
He emerges.
Oh, my goodness.
He's covering ground.
He's alive.
He's opening the door. Somebody get him a water. Get him a water.
Wait, what the heck was that?
This.
What was that?
Like you guys have the power to summon me or something like that.
I know, but I know we're in more of a technical, Super Bowl conversation here.
I wanted to do something else first before I'd come in, and then you started talking, and I couldn't let you down. So
Exactly.
Well, the music's playing. That was nuts.
it's all right.
I think Mike's right. I've never seen you move that fast.
Yeah, it was like you're trying to run away from us.
How are you?
How you doing?
I don't know if you heard my opening of the show today, but
I did not. I was
my
on
goodness,
the phone and stuff.
My throat closed up for a second. I'm like battling off this. I don't even know if I'm sick. I think I just had a stuffy nose. It's the change of weather. It's the lack of sleep. It's a pain.
You'll be fine Sunday.
Yeah.
What time is kickoff? Is it like
6:40.
after 6 o'clock, something like
Something
that?
like that. Yeah, 6:40.
6:41 or something weird. No.
I think it always used to be like 6:37 was like the weird time.
Can you put a bet in Vegas on the actual kickoff time? You can do everything.
I think you can.
I'm sure you
can.
could.
There's probably a way.
Yeah.
I don't think many people would bet that, but I think there actually is an actual kickoff time they stick to due to TV and all the money that's put in for the ads.
Also carefully coordinated.
Of course.
Are you hosting Super Bowl party this year, Mike?
Yeah, me, myself, and the kids and the wife. That's it.
Very nice.
That's nice.
I'll get some subs. I'm probably going to go to the women's game a bit on Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay.
what time's that start?
I don't remember.
Is it during the Super Bowl?
I think it's like noon
Oh.
or 2.
Smart. Wrestling's at 2 o'clock
But
on
there's
Sunday
a-
as well.
There's a project they're working on, kind of based on that documentary we did last year, and they're going to be interviewing some of the women's basketball players from that '82 team. So I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but there's a whole thing. So
Well, you just did.
Teresa Grentz will be there.
It just-
I think
it-
it might be a
it-
letter winners day.
It
So
just went out to all 8 of our listeners.
That's good. That's good. Online,
I think
many more listening in their car.
I guess.
radios.
How many? Oh, we're actually down to 5. It was 6. Now we're down to 5 on,
But that's
on
only
the online
only
show.
streaming.
That's fine.
Many
That's
more people
more than we
listen
had
on
last week.
terrestrial radio. I think you guys had about 45 for the wrestling online.
Penn State?
Yeah.
I would say most people were there. I'm still impressed by our record of, what was it, like 120 at Michigan last year.
Something like that.
Have you played Scott's Message?
We were
Yeah,
go-
that's
Okay.
awesome.
We were
Yeah.
gonna play next break, which is actually coming up. We were gonna play that.
That was actually what I was going to do. I wanted to bring in the log for the day, and I said, I'll wait and I'll come back. I'll print that thing and I'll come in. I would have been in by now. But then you saw me, and then I quickly retreated.
Well, I saw you in the.
And then came back. Yeah, reflecting
yeah.
in the glass
Yeah,
over there. Yeah, exactly.
the Goodell surprise in the studio. Sure. I saw you in the in the glass,
Right,
So
yeah.
that I had to start playing the music. I knew you were
Yeah.
coming in, and then Mike said you were in the doorway.
Yeah, I
and
heard
then
you opening the
and then you
door and-
sprint back to your office.
He was
and-
great to do that, by the way.
Yes, he
And,
was. We hope to have him
had-
again, maybe post nationals when his stress level's a little low.
Well, that I meant that, and also the promo. And for those who don't know, and those who are listening, we are doing a massive renovation project this summer.
Which he waited to do after we graduated on purpose.
Completely new, completely new equipment.
I can't wait to see it as an alumni.
Exactly.
and not
Yes.
use it.
Completely new equipment, a big renovation project, and it's our 70th anniversary this April, so we are hoping to raise at least $70,000.
WRSU.org/donate.
That's right, and you go there and you can put in any donation you like. Go to WRSU.org, donate, and it'll tell you all the stuff that we plan to do. You click on a link, and it'll take you to the page where you can fill that out. And for $70, you get a T-shirt. For $250, you get
an expensive T-shirt.
For $250, it's like a pledge drive.
just
Channel
kidding.
13. But you get
Get some cool stuff.
$250, you get either a tote bag or a sweatshirt plus the T-shirt. $700. And
my God.
you could be a host on Nightline. I will tell you, we've gotten one $700 donation
Interesting.
already.
Anonymous?
From an alum.
Oh, well, there we
I know
go.
who it is. I can't say, but
No, okay.
It's university
Posse.
information and all that kind of stuff. But we have
They'll
gotten
tell
one.
us off
We have
air.
gotten one big donation, and we're looking for more. And if you want to donate more than that, you're welcome to it.
Exactly.
And we would love you to spread the word because it'll help us do the stuff like you do. Send you guys to nationals, and send you guys to the Big Ten tournament to cover wrestling, and whoever else succeeds you, and all of those people, so that we can keep broadcasting.
I'm
and
so excited for that, by the
Spreading
way.
the word about Rutgers Wrestling and all that. Yeah, I'd imagine. And that was a great call on the pin on
Thank you.
Siriano.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So very good.
It's now on my YouTube page. if
You'll
you
want to
keep watching
know
it.
because I came to the
Hofstra match. Yes.
because I couldn't come to Penn State, which I really wanted to. But my
Yeah.
daughter, out of she won her troop and came in third overall of all the 7 troops in the
congrats to her.
Pinewood Derby, which is why I couldn't make it.
Girl Scouts have a Pinewood Derby?
Boy Scouts let them come in and after and did the
Well,
Pinewood Derby.
well, congrats to her.
I mean, the thing was flying. She painted it all herself.
Oh, good for her.
I never made one, and I never did Boy Scouts, so I never made a Pinewood Derby car. Have you guys?
I have never. No,
like
I was
twice.
But
I
you know-
never made one.
You get this block of wood. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like just a
Yeah, it's a square-
rectangular
yeah,
block of wood, and you have to cut
well,
it.
Well, I made one. Are you talking about those big ones, or like the little small cars?
Like
oh,
you know,
yeah,
about 7
yeah.
inches long.
Yeah, no, I made back in wood shop in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I made one of those. Is that the?
But
the
see,
car-
you had tools in wood
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
I'm standing there with a jigsaw. I don't even have a vise, so it's
Yeah.
sitting on my deep freezer down the basement.
So
I
it's
keep
de-
hitting the
yeah.
freezer with the saw.
so
and
it's definitely harder.
I'm lucky I still have both eyes.
I still have my car actually.
Do
And
you?
oh yeah. But what's interesting though is because all we had to do was obviously it's a bunch of 8th graders. You don't want 8th graders using this heavy machinery sometimes. We had to draw it out of how we wanted it
And
designed.
someone else did it for you.
Yeah, our teacher put it through the machine so it carved out the way we wanted. But we had to, design it and put the wheels on it, drill the holes and put all that stuff on it.
And listen, we all know racing's a sport, so this qualifies.
Oh,
there
wow.
you go.
Pinewood
Mike,
Derby.
you actually did this yourself?
I did the.
You should show that to
I did
Tim.
the carving.
Show that to Tim. He's on. He's on today at 10 o'clock.
She made a mouse as the driver from Mousetrap, and she wanted to put the net from Mousetrap behind it, so it looked like the mouse was trying to get away from the net.
That's interesting.
I think the mouse ears help the aerodynamics a little bit. So
Very nice.
But you were able to cut it. Oh, Mike, I'm very impressed.
I still don't know how I did it. I really don't have I have a jigsaw that I use to put some trim around my windows.
God,
Mike, you
That was
are a magic man.
That was it.
Very nice.
Look at that.
I see that. Look at that. Look at you.
You know what my biggest dilemma is this weekend, Mike?
What's that?
Not only the Patriots might win, but we're hosting the Super Bowl party, and my mother's going to grill the chicken wings.
You gonna grill them?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm devastated.
So you're going home for the Super Bowl party?
Yeah. Well, you know that league.
While we're
I'm
on
in?
this topic, I mean, before let's take a break first. We'll come back and then let's discuss some Super Bowl party stuff. Then we'll get into our picks, as we mentioned before. Oh,
And you know this is really big for me, the pick, because you know that league I'm in that does all the spreads.
it is. You make your outright pick, and then you can reveal your spread pick.
It's a 5.5 point spread. The Eagles are given 5.5.
You guys are still with the 5.5 point spread.
Yeah, and we're tied for first. So this
boy.
is this Super Bowl means everything for me, not just for the Patriots and the Eagles, but for the league.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break. Make sure to keep it locked here for the opening drive, where we'll discuss some Super Bowl party stuff. We'll keep Mike Pavlichko in studio, obviously, because we always good to have him. Make sure to keep it locked. Listen to the opening drive here on 88.7 WRSU FM and online at WRSU.org.
There's a pin. Nick Soriano gives Rutgers 6 points after the first bout. And what a statement in his first match as the #1 ranked wrestler in the country.
Hi, this is Rutgers Wrestling coach Scott Goodale. Our Scarlet Knights are one of the top wrestling teams in the country, year in and year out. And so is the sports team at WRSU. We're extremely grateful for their coverage, whether it's a sold-out duel against a Big Ten rival at the RAC or at the Big Ten Tournament or NCAA Nationals. This spring, as WRSU celebrates its 70th anniversary, they're taking on a major renovation project, and I'm asking you to help them out. The goal is $70,000 for their 70th anniversary so that WRSU can provide the next generation of sports broadcasters with the best college radio learning experience they can have. Go to WRSU.org/donate to find out more. They'll reward you with some cool WRSU gear, and you can even be a guest on Nightline. Visit WRSU.org/donate and support WRSU and their up-and-coming future sports journalists. And go Scarlet Knights.
Welcome back inside the opening drive. Nick Kosko, Mike Antosiewicz, 8:44. Mike Pavlichko in studio with us today.
How you doing? No, you're fine. You got it. That's good.
He got the right one.
I do.
I thought
was
you
going to pull this one over.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
Well, you,
I like talking to the one with the big mic flag.
you want to stay off camera too?
Yeah, then you'd be down to two viewers.
Well, that's not. I mean,
That's true. That's not.
I mean,
live.
that's not streaming live. That's
Right.
recorded, then it goes up later. But
we want people to watch it.
we
So
want, yeah.
better off in the corner. here.
I guess so. What are we down to? I'm going to refresh the stream here. Oh, we're still at 5.
There you go.
Huh, all right. 6 now, actually. We just went up.
Look at that.
Look at that. We're back.
That's because I texted my dad. No, I'm kidding.
Nah. Very nice.
Say something funny, Mike.
All right.
What is it already
I can
with the
say that.
father? and
Fellas,
the-
Super Bowl party stuff.
What do you guys do?
well-
I imagine, have a big bash.
Well, actually, no, but
By
I'm
the way, if my team was in the Super Bowl, I would be locked in a room. I wouldn't be able to watch the Super Bowl. You would have to put me on so much. I don't know.
You take gym mats and line the walls so you can.
Oh my God! Line the walls. Like
See-
you would have to put me in a straitjacket. I could not watch the game. I would not.
I'm usually a part of a nice little celebration each year. I haven't had this situation where I've had the Eagles in the Super Bowl in 13 years. Excuse me. And 13 years ago, I was only 8 years old, going on 9. And I was at my grandmother's house, her house that used to be here in Bridgewater. All I remember is just watching the game. That's all. No big party.
Right.
But now, my girlfriend's family is hosting one at their house. They're not really. Her family's not really big into sports. I got my girlfriend into some good Eagles football, so we're going to their house for the Super Bowl party. It'll be lots of food, lots of good, just lots of food, a lot of good time, a good time, and then of course once it's 6:30, Mike, I'm gonna be locked on the TV and I'm gonna basically shut everything else out because I'm going to be a nervous wreck the entire time.
What kind of food you do?
I think we're doing a lot of appetizer type stuff. You know, you're talking about chips, maybe some wings, those little, little cocktail weenies too. What else we got?
Those are way underrated.
The cocktail
love them.
weenies?
They're way underrated.
Awesome.
I think they're way overrated.
I think they are overrated. I'll eat them, but I think they're overrated, to be
Why
honest
aren't
with
you
you.
making them? No, for the Super Bowl.
I might. I'm the only one who will eat them.
Buffalo chicken dip.
The
my
kids
girlfriend's
won't even
making.
eat them?
No.
Interesting.
My daughter loves hot dogs, but she's got to peel the skin off.
What?
Of those
'Cause
cocktail
she's got-
weenies.
No, I mean like a regular hot dog.
What?
That's how she eats a hot dog.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how are you raising these children?
I don't know where I went wrong. No.
Are they picky eaters?
You haven't
Yes.
seen picky till you've seen these two.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Were you like that as a
That
child?
grilled cheese is the wrong color.
Are you
Oh.
serious?
Wrong shape. It's cut it the other way. Don't cut it.
I used to be a picky eater. I mean, not to that extent, but I used to be a picky eater. But
My
now I
son-
just eat whatever.
My son. So we've got two different cases of bottles of water, just because of whatever's cheaper. One's like a Nestle. One's a Poland Spring. He doesn't like the green one.
He doesn't like
Poland
the green
Spring.
Poland Spring.
No. I'm like, dude, it's both. They're both a guy in T-neck, just like running the tap water and filling up bottles in his bathroom.
It's
what
actually
are you talking
it's
about?
actually an elderly couple in their bathtub in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Actually, I don't know if you knew.
Lewis Black. Yes.
Yeah. Say something
Got
funny,
the
Mike.
reference. Very good.
Say something funny, Mike.
But but he's like, I don't like the green, so I just tear the label off, and he can't tell the difference.
So you're
That's
saying
interesting.
you beguile your children?
What do you mean?
You trick them. You beguile them.
Yeah, it's just a little white lie.
But you do though.
It's a little bit. Yeah.
Are you saying that's a parenting strategy?
Well, listen, you
I think
gotta
to
get by every
yeah,
day,
yeah,
man. You guys still gotta
I
get
think
out of bed every day.
it's that case. You probably have to
You still
lie
gotta
to your
get out
kids
every
a
day
little
and
bit.
feed them because they're on the grid. They know we have them,
I think you have to lie to your kids a little bit, just a little bit.
and
that's all.
If they don't eat, I go to jail. So
He wakes up in the morning.
You're in a
like,
conundrum
How
here.
am I going to trick them today?
Mike, what do you have? What do you have for your Super Bowl party, Antosh?
Oh, what do I? Well,
What's that? You said. Let's go back to that. You said your mother's making chicken wings. Fine, on the grill.
I know. Well, we have
chicken wings on a grill.
We have a fryer, but she doesn't want to use it. So
Interesting.
This is what's going to happen. It's going to be
I'm very curious now.
like there's only going to be 20 people, by the way. But this is how much food we're preparing.
Only 20 people.
2 3-foot-long subs, 1 Italian, 1 American, which is probably enough food, right?
2 3-foot long. So you
Yeah.
have 6 feet of sandwich. You're saying.
All right. We're getting because
Wait. Is she dicing up to like little like finger sandwiches? Or,
No, it's going to be like each one's going to be a big sandwich. I mean, it's like that itself is enough food. Then she's also going to. We're making food, but she also, because it's Italians, wants to get 2 Sicilian pies, and also
Okay.
a calzone from this local place that's very good. Okay, so you have 6 feet of bread, and then 2 pizza pies and a calzone
with more bread.
a lot of carbs, man.
Right. I'm also making. I make the best mac and cheese in the world. I'm making 2 pounds of homemade mac and
2
cheese.
pounds.
I'll fight you for that.
If there's extra, I'll
No,
bring
I
some
mean
in.
I'll bake my own mac and cheese.
Oh, really?
And then we can.
Oh,
see.
we have a battle. I'm thinking of throwing it at end of WRSU, end of year WRSU thing, so we could have a.
For the seniors.
You should also have my stromboli.
Your Stromboli.
Yes, I want your stromboli.
We could listen. I'll come over to my house. We'll have a big thing in the backyard.
I'm okay with that, but I'm totally down with that.
Yeah, I'll make a stromboli.
Good.
Put pepperoni, mozzarella, provolone, and Romano cheese with a little bit of tomato sauce inside. Wrap it all up. Brush it with egg. Put some spices on top, and some more Romano cheese. And
Getting me
and
hungry. I
bake
didn't eat
it.
breakfast yet.
Do you make the dough homemade?
I don't. It's store dough.
How dare you?
But it's pretty good.
No,
It's
actually,
pretty good.
the store-made pizza.
Antosh, you mentioned this mac and cheese. I think if you have any left over, I think you should bring it into the studio.
You put breadcrumbs on the top of the mac
Wednesday.
and
Oh
cheese?
yes, absolutely.
I think you're bringing
homemade breadcrumbs.
I,
A lot of cheddar?
I think you're bringing this in.
What I'm doing is I do a Gruyere and
Gruyere, yeah.
and cheddar mix.
My wife used to do that. I use
I think you have to bring this in on Wednesday.
just cheddar, milk, and flour.
Yeah, you make a roux. Yeah, so I have.
Is that like the to die for type of food at your Super Bowl party? Is that mac and cheese?
Yeah,
Is that
I
like
make
the number one?
yeah.
That's the number one.
I might also.
course?
I also make brownies. I also make like the best brownies ever because it's just like melted chocolate and flour.
Do they have that little? Do they have that little layer on top that like flakes off?
Yes.
You got to have that.
Yes. And then but that's not all the food. My mother doesn't think that's enough food. All those
course
carbs
it's
and
not.
everything. So
Mike,
on
we're
top of
Italian.
that,
We know that's never.
on top
It's
of that,
never enough food.
Again, she's going to make the wings. She's going to make pulled pork.
Oh, very nice.
And then probably make chili as well. Remember, there's 20 people here. There's 20 people, and this is everything in addition to 6 feet of
6 feet of
sandwiches.
sandwich.
Right, and then she's making 2 types of dip. Somebody else is also bringing like special dip over. I think my mother's making like spinach artichoke dip. Somebody else is making another type of dip. So there's like at least 3
You know what's
kinds
really
of
good
hot
too?
dip.
Onion dip is really good. For
Yeah,
the
there's at
chips.
least 3 different kinds of dip, and then people are bringing dessert and everything like that. It's like it's an absolute. It's just
Let
gluttony.
me ask you: the TV you're watching it on? Do you have a humongous TV?
We got 2 flat screens, so I
Interesting.
mean not like
How big?
gigantic. I don't know, 48.
Oh wow, nice.
So you're gonna use. So you're gonna double up the screens. You're gonna have like one. You're gonna have like 2 viewing rooms.
What's going to happen is that we have, our basement's finished. So which is the greatest thing my parents ever did was finish that basement.
Is finish that basement.
The I don't know how we lived 10 years in that house without it being finished. So it'll probably be the men or the people who are just really interested in the Super Bowl downstairs in my basement, right? We'll have
Everybody else is upstairs watching the game.
And then my mother, and then my grandmother, and then
your grandmother,
the other most likely
Grandma
women will be-
Antosh.
Yes, we'll be standing up there, and then we'll be upstairs in the living room watching the game. So it'll be a lot of testosterone in that basement.
I like your breakdown of this.
And
this
it's going
party.
to be very, very, very intense because, again, in the league I'm in, I'm tied for first place with my uncle. It all comes down. I get the first pick because I have tiebreaker right now, and it all comes down to if I win the Super Bowl, I pick the Super Bowl right in terms of the spread. I win the league, and there's other people going to be there. It's going to be a lot of anxiety and energy.
So let's get to it then.
Did you all do real quick, and then I'll let you guys finish your thing? Did you guys watch National Championship game?
Of course,
Yes.
I did.
Does the Super Bowl see what the Super Bowl should do? Is they should get some other channels and do what they do during the national championship
megacast,
game.
right?
The megacast, do the local.
I'd
love to. Like if I was a Patriots fan, I'd love to also hear my own announcers, and all
I could have
that kind of
sworn
stuff.
the NFL Network did something like that.
Okay,
for the
maybe
Super
they
Bowl.
do.
But
I don't know
think
because
so.
I'm not that big a fan that
I don't think they do.
would have sought it out, but I was just curious.
I think that goes more towards because I think ESPN was able to. Then again, that college football was able to do that because I think it was ESPN.
Right,
and they
because
can
they have
use
all
their
these
array of channels.
channels.
Yeah. But
This game's on NBC,
NBC, so they don't have
they're
that,
not going to be
yeah.
able to do that.
Your children eat stromboli?
No, my wife does though. My wife loves it. So we have to.
At least somebody else
We'll do
eats it.
tasty subs from the tasty sub shop.
Oh,
over
very
here.
good. You're not going to have 6 feet of sandwich though.
And then the last thing I'll leave you with is my wife and I will be staying up after the game because we do watch the show This Is Us.
Oh, I'm going to sleep.
And that crockpot thing killed me the other night.
What crockpot thing?
Man. You guys don't watch the
I
show.
don't
I'm
watch the show.
assuming.
I think it's a funny show though.
There's a long-standing thing about
Mike, this is not a funny show. You're thinking of something
There's
else.
No, it's not. I mean, there's some
It's not a
moments,
funny
but
show.
there's a long-standing show where there's a long-standing thing where we know that the father. It's done with a lot of flashbacks to 20 years ago and all that. There's a long-standing thing where it's known that the father dies, and the big question is how. And there was a mention of something.
Spoiler alert.
There was a spoiler. There was a spoiler. This is air. Spoiler alert if you're listening.
Spoiler alert. Turn it off
There
for
was
like
this-
2 seconds.
30 seconds. There was a spoiler that a crock pot was involved, and some cooking magazine tweeted something that says, I guess This Is Us taught us some crock pot tips tonight, and people went ballistic because it ruined it for everybody who DVR'd it.
Interesting.
But there will be an episode after the Super Bowl,
I
which
see.
apparently is the payoff.
So
to that.
how does your
So we'll be watching
crock
that,
pot
too.
kill you?
That's too long a story to
Too
get
long.
into.
Let's not
but
get into that. We're going to be here for another half hour.
Someone lent the family an old crock pot with a buggy switch, and now people are freaking out that crock pots are bad. It's like, dude, it was like a 30-year-old thing. So I'm going to let Bennett get in here, and you guys have some
Of course.
fun times.
To the picks now.
Good luck, guys.
Wait, Mike, what's your pick?
Pav, have your pick before you leave. Anything? Bueller?
Just because I don't want to see a city in ruins, I'm going to go with rooting for the Eagles.
Oh, that city is trash no matter what. If
Just
they win
for
or
you.
lose, it's good. It's
I think
done.
less trashed if they win. Just
I don't
taking the
know
path
about
of
that.
least resistance.
I really don't know about that.
I think the Patriots are going to win, though.
Okay. That's fine.
If I was a betting man, I'd be a fool to bet against Tom Brady.
No.
Either way, I win.
No offense
I've got, a high school kid I covered on the Eagles. I've got Rutgers guys on the Patriots. As long as I get my box,
It's
I'm
true.
good. That's it.
To
I
the
root
box.
for the box. Root for the numbers.
There you go. Thanks, Mike. As he'll make his exit now.
he's leaving.
Now he's going slower. There he goes. There goes that man again. Mike Pavlichko.
And he's moving away, and he's out of sight.
The gracefulness of that walk out of the studio. That's enough of that. So, Mike, with 3 minutes to go.
2 minutes, really.
2 minutes now, yes. Your pick. I'll go to you first. I need your pick and your score. And your MVP. Your MVP.
Well, again, it's 5.5 points. I'm going to pick the Eagles with 5.5 points.
So your spread pick is the Eagles.
Yes, my spread pick is the Eagles.
God bless you.
I'm seriously. Gronk is playing, and that just gives me a bad feeling.
Of course he's playing.
And I think the Patriots are going to win. I think the Patriots are going to win.
So you're picking the Eagles with the spread.
Yes.
The cover. But you're picking the Patriots outright. Your final score, Mike. And your MVP.
27-23.
So that covers it. And your MVP?
MVP, because it's going to probably be someone on the Patriots, because the Patriots are going to win. It's going to be most likely
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady or Gronk.
So Brady or Gronk?
Yes.
Your MVP. So you have Patriots winning. You have the Eagles, though, for your spread pool.
Yes.
So you'd be even more thrilled if they won the game outright.
Oh,
Eagles.
my God.
Of course.
So
you have the
listen, it could still be a situation where I'm home hosting a Super Bowl party, and not only do I have to see the Patriots win the Super Bowl, I also lose the league because the Patriots win by more than 5.5 points.
Are you going to have conflicting feelings if the Patriots win, then you cover? If they won 27-23, you win your league.
I would be upset, but I would still win the league. That's all that matters.
So that's all that matters for you. All right. Obviously, I'm picking the Eagles. My Eagles. I have my hat today. For those who are going to see on YouTube at some point, here's my hat in front of the camera. Going with the Eagles. I will go. This game's going to be so close. I'm going to go 28-24. I think a late touchdown seals the game, and then the defense seals it for the Eagles. Let's hope. I'm hoping. My MVP, I think if they win, it's going to be Nick Foles. Nick Foles will make or break this game for the Eagles. The defense will. The defense can very well win the game as well, but I think ultimately the MVP is going to go to Nick Foles if they win, especially with a late touchdown. I'm going with the Eagles, 28-24, so we'll see what happens. We'll come back next Wednesday from 8 to 9 a.m. We'll recap the Super Bowl, recap some Rutgers Wrestling as well. For Mike Antosiewicz, I am Nick Kosko saying so long. You're listening to The Opening Drive here on 88.7 WRSU FM and online at WRSU.org. Stay tuned for further programming, and go Eagles.